I'm Sarah Matchett, and I'm a lecturer in the Centre for Theatre, Dance and Performance Studies at the University of Cape Town. So my particular area of interest and research and teaching is in exploring how the use of the Sanskrit tradition of Rasa can be applied to contemporary performance training, particularly in terms of exploring ways of accessing emotions. It looks at the relationship between breath, body, and posture. So this is an ancient system, over 2,000-year-old system, that we are exploring in the classroom today. However, this particular exploration is with puppeteer Asia Marnowick, and we are interested in exploring the intersection between the use of rasas and paper puppets, and seeing how the puppet can take on the particular emotion by applying the principles, the body, the breath body, or breath posture, and facial relationships that are associated with the system of Rasa. So Rita is here with me today. She's a student at Queen's University in Belfast. And we're going to be exploring the principles of locks, which are traditionally associated with yoga. So in Sanskrit, they're referred to as bandhas, because these are directly relate to the rasa application. So there are three locks. So the first lock is the perennial lock. So Rita, what you're going to do is you're going to lift your pelvic floor muscle. Imagine that you need to pee, right? And so when you need to pee, you're going to hold in that pee by lifting the pelvic floor muscle. So you're going to breathe in first. Don't engage it yet. Breathe in, and then engage the lock and hold the breath. And release. Breathe in, lock, and release. Got it? Yeah? So that's the first lock, the perennial lock, which is about engaging the pelvic floor muscle. The second is the abdominal lock. So what you want to do, Arita, is you want to breathe in and then pull your belly button back towards your spine and lock it in that position, hold the breath, and then release. Okay, so let's try that again, and maybe you can breathe in and pull your belly button, yeah, and release. Now the trick is you need to try and isolate this. So one naturally wants to engage the pelvic floor muscle as well. But what you want to do is isolate the locks. So when you engage the abdominal lock, make sure you release the pelvic floor muscle, right? So let's try again. Breathe in and pull the belly button back, release the pelvic floor, and let the breath out. Yeah? That's the second lock. Third lock is the throat lock. So when we learn the throat lock, we actually tilt the chin towards the chest. So breathe in and release and out. Now let's try it. So now you've felt the sensation of the lock in your throat. So try doing it without actually tilting the chin. So breathe in and lock and release. You got that one? So now we'll systematically move through them. We'll start with the perennial lock, then the abdominal lock, then the throat lock. Breathe in, perennial lock, release. Breathe in, abdominal lock, release. Breathe in, throat lock, and release. Got that? Okay. So now that Arita has learnt those three locks, we're now going to apply them to one of the rasas, which is karuna, translated into sadness. And with sadness, what happens is that you breathe in, you engage the pelvic floor muscle, lock, your perennial lock, your abdominal lock, and what will happen is you'll find that if you lock them, it's almost like a concertina. One, yeah, the solar plexus will collapse, which then means that your shoulders and your chest will collapse and your shoulders will roll in towards each other, and then you lock the throat so that the breath is concertinaed in the chest area. So you have a heavy heart, as it were, right? Then what happens is that the face will move into the tragic mask, right? When you can't hold the breath for any longer, you allow it to flutter in and out your nostrils, yeah? So let's try that. You're gonna breathe in, perineal lock, abdominal lock, collapse the shoulders, look up towards the camera, yes, and yes. And if a sound wants to come out, yeah, okay, and release. Did you feel the slight welling up of tears behind your eyes?
I felt it more in my chest, like the emotion.
Okay, okay. So in the first instance, we quite overt, kind of exaggerate the breath and the posture so that you can really get a sense of what the emotion feels like in the body. So now that you've learned this on your own body, the next step is to see how we can transfer this onto the puppet so that the puppet takes on that emotion, working with the same principles, looking at the relationship between breath, body, and the puppet in this instance doesn't have a face. So we will primarily explore the relationship between breath and posture, working with those three locks. The Sanskrit system of rasa that we employ in the acting class consists of 9 rasas. So directly translated into the English, rasa would mean essence or sensation or taste. So the 9 rasas are love, laughter, bravery, wonder, anger, sadness, disgust, and fear. And the final one is peace. One of the things Asia and I are wanting to explore is the blending of rasas in relation to the paper puppets. So when I talk about blending, I mean taking, for example, combining, for example, anger and disgust, or anger and bravery, or love and disgust, or even combining 3 rasas together to work with more, to find a more kind of complex way into expressing emotions. So that would be the next phase of our exploration, is to see how we can blend the different rasas and transfer them into the puppets.
And now we're going to be demonstrating an integrative approach to paper puppetry and the rasa system that Sarah's just demonstrated. We've been doing a full-length workshop with the performers who are going to be helping us now, Shane and Emily from Queen's University and Donna from Netverpret in South Africa, who's worked with the Handspring Puppet Company. And they're going to be working with the rasa of sadness. Now, we did a full workshop with the puppetry to get them to the point where they're able to manipulate a full-body puppet without previous experience in puppeteering, so that they're able to transmit that rasa that they've just learned into the paper. And to do that, we've worked with the principles of posture and stance in relation to the puppet. We've worked with connecting to the center of the puppet to implement the locks into the puppet, and then we've worked systematically through implementing the locks into the puppet body through the human body.
it's important to note that both the system of Rasa and the paper puppet tradition are ancient and very large traditions. And so what we've done today is really just a snippet into the beginnings of a much broader exploration, and again, it's important to note that both the tradition of paper puppets and the system of Rasa take years and years and years of training and practice. And so this is the beginning of a much longer exploration that Asia and I are embarking on.